The story of Lil Yummy is probably the saddest.
And I know before I started the video, y'all all seen him before in people's profile pictures and stuff. So I'm just now like figuring out who that is, but yeah, that's him.
And most insane story I've ever talked about on my channel. Lil Yummy was born Robert Sandifer in the south side of Chicago on the 12th of March, 1983. His now famous nickname, Lil Yummy, came from the boy's love of cookies. He was never...
See, that's how you know, like...
Now famous nickname, Lil Yummy, came from the boy's love of cookies. He was never given a real chance in life. Both Yummy's parents were teens when he was born. As a baby, his mother was a prostitute and his father was in jail. Yummy's mother used to beat her children violently, and at only 4, he was taken away to live with his grandmother. Things didn't get much better for Yummy, though.
That's crazy already before he even, like... He said at what, 4?
At only 4, he was taken away to live with his grandmother.
At only 4 is crazy.
Things didn't get much better for Yummy, though. His grandmother was housing 19 children, so Yummy ended up being completely neglected.
19 children at one time? Y'all gotta think how crazy that is. Like, what do they eat? Like, not even trying to be funny, but like, how does she what's she afford to? Y'all get what I'm saying? But that's probably why they saying he was neglected, because it was so many of them.
He was also abused by his grandmother, and Yummy would often be found with cigarette burns all over his body. At only...
So you telling me she was burning him with cigarettes? Yo.
8 years old, Yummy dropped out of school and became involved in the streets. Crazily, at this age, Yummy learned how to drive and began robbing cars.
Driving and robbing cars at 8 years old. See, like, in this story, I feel like this is not even his fault for real, cause
he also became known in his neighborhood for breaking into houses. At this time, he fell in with the black disciples who used kids as drug runners because they would receive such light sentencing.
Bro, that's crazy though.
Yummy even got BDN tattooed on his right forearm, which stood for Black Disciple Nation. At 10, Yummy was arrested for armed robbery.
Bro, from ages 8 through 10, this man was breaking in houses, robbing cars. Yo.
The police
and armed robbery.
After arresting Yummy, took him to a psychological examiner who reported, Robert is a child growing up without any encouragement and support. And
there you go right there. This is what I mean by this isn't really his fault in this story why he was like this.
And that he has a sense of failure that has infiltrated almost every aspect of his inner self. Not long after this arrest, he was sent to the Lawrence Hall DCFS shelter on Chicago's north side. This was a place for troubled homeless boys to stay. But Yummy ran away and continued his life of crime. All of these activities meant Yummy had 23 and continued his life of crime.
So they like took him in and then he ran away and continued doing what he was going to do.
All of these activities meant Yummy had 23 felonies at the age of 11.
23 felonies at the age of 11? 11 years old. Bro, this story is crazy.
He genuinely...
And most of y'all probably didn't even know this.
...scared cops, lawyers, and judges because of how little he cared. An interview with a lady who lived on his block describes very well how bad he really was.
How long did you know him?
Since I've been staying around here.
How long was that?
About a year.
Yeah? What was he like?
Bad.
Bad?
I mean, yeah, he was bad, but was it really his fault, though? Think about that. Was it his fault?
Like, when you say bad, what do you mean?
Fighting, stealing, breaking into people's houses.
I think you should have asked this question. Yeah?
Shut up! I'm always open up that door.
Is this on news?
Oh.
Did you ever see, like, the police coming to his house?
Every other day.
Every other day the police were coming to his house?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? When you found out that he was killed, right? What did you think?
I mean, it shocked me. He shouldn't have got killed like that. I mean, he didn't have to die the way he was killed, but...
So he got killed. That's what she just said. That's crazy.
That's the life you live. That's what happened.
At 11, he was supplied with a gun by a member of his gang and began flexing it to scare people on his block. Sadly, this gun would be the beginning of Yummy's end. A BD member ordered the 4'6"
And why would they give that to him? Especially knowing, like, see, they were supposed to step in and be like, nah, or like, I don't know.
child to carry out a hit on arrival. He approached a group of boys standing on South Perry Avenue around 6:30. Yummy walked up to 16-year-old Keonta Britton and asked him what gang he claimed. Britton told the 11-year-old he wasn't involved before Yummy pulled out a gun and shot him in the stomach at point-blank range. Yummy sprinted away and police quickly arrived on the scene. The police asked the victim who shot him, and Britton replied, "Yummy shot me. I knew it was Yummy. I saw his face before he shot me. Clearly Yummy, despite..."
Did he survive? Cause how you get shot in your... You know what? Bro, this is crazy.
His young age was well known to his rivals. Thankfully, Britton was able to be saved, but Yummy's next victim later that day wouldn't be so...
Later that day.
Only 2 hours later, Yummy came back.
Wait, what?
Victim later that day wouldn't be so lucky. Only 2 hours later, Yummy came back. Just around the corner of where he shot Britton earlier, he spotted 6 guys playing football. He walked up with no mask, wearing a shirt that just said "Boss," and opened fire erratically. Bullets went everywhere. A parked van was hit, a house window was hit, and tragically 14-year-old Shavon Latrice...
So he was just shooting for no reason, like... If he was just shooting at... He was just shooting for no reason. Like, it wasn't even no target right here. He was just shooting just because he could. Yo, that's crazy.
Dean was hit in the head. Shavon, who wasn't even with the boys but simply walking past, died an hour later. The boys Yummy was trying to shoot identified him to police, and a manhunt for the 11-year-old...
So he did have a target, okay.
...began. Yummy began living in abandoned houses while being supported by some BDs. CPD and even the FBI were now looking for him. Yummy decided he was going to turn himself in and went back to his old neighborhood 3 days after the murder. Here,
I'm not gonna lie. In this situation, the way this works is they gonna find him eventually. So it's like, if he turns himself in, and since he's young, he ain't gonna get that much of a penalty, but that would be the best thing to do in this situation, most likely. Because once they find him, he's done. And if he keeps running, it's just gonna make the sentence longer. So if he was gonna do that, it's the best thing he could do.
Here, he met his neighbor, who he asked to call his grandmother and to pray for him. When the neighbor came back out, he was gone. Little did Yummy know, high-ranking BDs decided he needed to be killed because they feared the little child would become an informant.
So you telling me his own people decided, since he was young, they was gonna kill him because he might snitch on them? So this is what I don't get. How they gonna bring him in, support him, do all this stuff, but then they gonna kill him? Especially because he a kid. It's different if it was a adult or a grown man, but like a kid is even worse.
After being threatened by their own gang, BD brothers Craig and Derek Hardaway agreed to kill Yummy.
Craig to kill him.
Why did
They look old too, like they're probably both twice his age. Maybe even 3 times his age. Maybe not 3 times, but
Craig and Derek Hardaway agreed to kill Yummy.
Craig to kill him.
why did Robert die?
By means of not my control.
And was it your life versus his life?
Absolutely.
You thought it was that simple as either you do this or you die.
And that's how it always boils down.
I mean, I understand why he did it, but it's like you're not gonna think before you do it though, cause that's a little kid, bro.
It's not like any wiggle room when you live in that lifestyle.
So you're saying you had no other choice?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
When the neighbor went inside to call Yummy's grandmother, the brothers drove up to Yummy and promised to get him out of Chicago. The brothers drove Yummy to a railroad underpass. They ordered Yummy to get out of the car and get on his knees. Once he did so, 16-year-old Craig shot him twice.
Oh, he was 16? Okay. So then okay, I was wrong. He's not twice their age, but bro, it makes it even worse so that he was around their age. Like he's just 5 years older than Yummy.
In the back of the head, killing Yummy. They left the body, which was found the following day. Yummy's story became world famous.
Yo, that's crazy though.
So, 16-year-old Crag shot him twice in the back of the head.
They shot him twice in his head, bro. That's like different.
Killing Yummy. They left the body, which was found the following day. Yummy's story became world famous after his death, even making the cover of Time magazine. His tragic story became synonymous with the struggle of impoverished children across the nation who have been completely abandoned by the world. Yummy's story had a big effect on Tupac. Tupac often mentioned
Tupac? Really, bro? Bro. Tupac is crazy.
Yummy and dissed BDs for what they did to him.
Do you feel for those mothers who lost their children and babies to senseless gang and youth violence? Do you have a message of consolation for those mothers?
Yeah, I do. Like with Yummy, when he passed on, you know, I know that hurt his family. I know it hurt the family of the female he supposedly shot. Just recently, this lady wrote me that
the two brothers were found guilty of murder and served 2 decades.
Yeah, I was about to say they have to, like, ain't no way they just got let loose, you know. So yeah.
Derek was released in 2016 and Crag in 2020. The only positive light in this story is the pair managed to turn their lives around while in jail. After being completely abandoned by the BDs who put no money on the brothers' books, Crag and Derek left the gang.
Why not tell?
Because I was believing in the foolishness they was telling me as far as the gangs. And
I mean, it's good that they understand, like, that wasn't right, but like, I'm still not understanding why they ain't think, like, did they really have to do that?
That lifestyle.
What did they tell you?
How they gonna be there, support, take care of us, our families, everything.
And?
Nothing. Literally nothing. No.
See, now when you think about it, he did all that for no reason.
No letter, no contact, no money for me, my family, they needs, no lawyer, literally nothing.
Both got their GEDs and associated degrees. Derek learned to landscape by working in the prison garden, and Crag is involved in anti-violence programs. It's easy to look at Yummy as a gangster who died the way he lived, but he was a child who never received support from anyone. He was a child who grew up in an environment where a bed to sleep on was a luxury. We're all influenced heavily by our environment. His environment was violence with no guidance. There really has to
Violence with no guidance.
be questions asked of a society that allows an 8-year-old child to drop out of school with nothing else for him to do. Rest in peace to both Siobhan Latrice Dean and Yummy.